Well, welcome you two. It's good to see you again.
Mhm.
Hi.
Right.
And so for our community, we're about 2.5 weeks out, or maybe three. We're about three
Yeah.
weeks since foundations. We're about 2.5 weeks leading into the next module because the AOC modules will happen every about 7-ish weeks. Um, and so I'm so excited to hear from the two of you as a couple what the transition was like, from the you know, they're not preliminary, introductory
Mhm.
modules that are a combination of the AOC students and the general public into the closed cohort course. And then also, like, if there were any ahas, insight, impacts from the foundations module that we did at the end of October,
Mhm.
and like how it has had impacted you guys as a couple, because we got to speak to you individually, and this is the first time that we're actually following a couple through the art of circling. So I know I'm excited. I hope our community is excited too, to kind of
Yeah.
follow you on this journey.
Yeah. We've been really excited about
Yeah.
sharing our growth
Yeah.
and learning
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the stuff that we're experiencing together with everybody
Yeah.
Mhm.
and having them see how it unfolds for us because we don't know how it's going to go. We don't know how it's going to unfold. So we're just as curious as we think like people watching this will be that
Mhm.
they don't know where it's going to go either. And we think that there's probably going to be this like journey along with us that is
Yeah.
interesting and cool and
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
they'll get to know us in a whole different way.
It's quite a service to be willing to kind of like open the kimono, as they say, or like invite people into your relationship
Mm.
and watch your personal growth journey
Mm.
alongside you, like in real time as it's happening. I just feel really grateful that you guys are willing to, because I imagine it's going to be really eye opening and educational and also normalizing
Mm.
for a
Yeah.
lot of our community. Like, oh, like I'm not the only one who struggles with that, or we're
Mhm.
not the only ones who question this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll leave the floor open to you. And like, what is it that you're discovering, and what are you wanting to share with us today?
The thing that's alive for me is how we're relating to each other.
Mhm.
That there's more softness, more patience, more sovereignty, for sure.
Mm.
Mm.
Um, and to give you an example of how that's manifested, we decided after foundations that we were going to try to integrate the way we integrate with medicine work
Mhm.
because it feels like this is moving as much energy.
Mhm.
So
For
we
sure.
have the luxury, given our lifestyle, of being able to take some time off in the middle of a week. And that's what we did. We went away. We
Yeah.
went to a place in the world that we love, that's very nature-based, and spent a lot of time in nature, having long hikes and
Yeah.
conversations. And what unfolded in that was doing parts work with each other
Mhm.
Mm.
in a way in which we were able to hold the container for each other. Yeah, in a way that was completely new. Now, how would you describe it?
Yeah. It it felt like we were using the sovereign and explorer skills the whole time we were away and integrating in pretty much all of our
Yeah.
conversations.
Mm. Mm.
And on the hikes especially, I mean, we went on pretty long hikes, 6 or 7 miles, and um, just beautiful, beautiful
Hmm.
nature.
Mhm.
Um, and it's a time of year in Acadia National Park where it's quiet, there's not a lot of other people on the trails. You really feel alone in nature in this like secluded, spiritual, Mother Nature has us held kind of feeling.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's what it was like when we were doing this parts work together. So I think it started out with us going on a hike and exploring me.
Yeah, you had two voices. I think you were calling them the judge and the scared part,
Yeah.
and you'd never thought of them as parts before.
No, and that was the surprising thing. It felt like when I was doing the circling in all of the weekends and even in the pods that so many of my patterns would come up
Mhm.
and and Dan's been reading um Schwartz's book
Yeah, no bad
on
part.
parts.
No bad parts.
And so he was like, "Well, you know, what is it about this suite of patterns
Mhm.
that is similar? And, why do you think so many of them are coming up
Mhm. Mhm.
all at once?"
Mhm.
And and it felt to me during our conversation like a lot of the parts were about judgment. Fear of failure, making mistakes, not being perfect, wanting people to like me, feeling unlovable, like just very oriented towards judging
Mhm.
myself and like future situations.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then when the judge would deem a future situation as something that could be dangerous, not like, to my person, but like scary.
Socially, yeah,
Yeah,
like, risk belonging or risk
right. Yeah.
inclusion or judgment.
Risking,
Yep.
right, risking lovability or whatever, then the scared part would kick in and kind of override a lot of the judging things. And it would just be, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. And
Mhm.
then, periodically the judge would be like, "You're not supposed to be scared now. You've done all this work on yourself. Why are you still scared?" You know, like, and like, you have nothing to be afraid. Like, so the judge would like chime in, but the scared part was just like, "I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared." And from hiking together and talking about this group of patterns that came together and this other part that's always saying it's scared, I was like, oh, maybe I do have parts, and these are
Yeah.
just the first two that I'm realizing that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you had previously just been holding these as like different patterns that you have that you keep
Yeah.
or habits that you keep repeating.
Hmm.
And then like getting this new map or this new way of thinking about them. You're like, oh, well, maybe they're different aspects of me or
Hmm.
they're different like qualities. And it's interesting, like the way, like for those of people who are not familiar with internal family system or Schwartz's work, like he kind of refers to parts as like sub personalities or like different pieces. So it's not like that you have it's not like dissociative identity disorder where you have multiple people living inside of you, but you have like these little aspects
Yeah.
of your personality that have their like different roles.
Right.
Mhm.
They were probably formed like for good reason at one
Right.
time or another.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of like stick with you
Mhm.
even
Right.
when they are no longer like necessary or useful. Sometimes they
Hmm.
still are running their scripts, they're
Mhm.
running their operating systems. And so it
Yeah.
seems like for you, Susan, you were like, yeah, like Dan's studying that and that's something he's into, but it's nothing that has ever kind of really like resonated with you.
Yeah.
And then you are seeing like, oh wait, if I cluster these patterns together and then there's these patterns, like, oh,
Yeah.
they can be two different
Mhm.
aspects of the integrated me that have
Exactly.
their eye on something else.
Exactly.
And it sounds like you're open to the idea of like, and like
Right.
as I do more and more introspection and I listen with more openness and curiosity, I might learn that some of these other patterns have a distinct voice,
Right.
a distinct thing they have their eye on.
Hmm.
Beautiful. And one other thing that struck me that you guys had said initially was that you feel like you are relating to each other or speaking to each other in a new way, like a deeper way. And you guys have been together 30 years now?
Our first date was in 1999.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
Right.
So
no,
26.
I'm sorry, 89. You're right.
89.
You're right,
Wait,
89.
I was
High
like, wait
school is
a
89.
minute, in 1989.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it
Yeah.
has been.
Yeah.
What's that, like 35 years?
Yeah.
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 So to hear that you guys are relating to each other, like you've known each other for over 30 years,
Yeah.
and you are still 35-ish years into a relationship, discovering new aspects of one another,
Mm-hmm.
learning to communicate in new ways. Like
Mm-hmm.
that just really struck me.
Yeah.
Like, and I imagine it will, like many of the people in our community of like, yeah, like we can still change, like well into like our 50s and 60s, you know,
Let
like
me flesh it out some. The
that.
scared part and the judge part, Susan and I are often in transference when
Mm-hmm.
they arise
Mhm.
because they mimic both patterns of behavior from my parents and they're mimicking patterns of behavior for her parents.
Yeah.
So this conversation was like a completely new relationship with that dynamic. I
Oh,
didn't feel overwhelmed and attacked, and she didn't feel like I was overwhelming and attacking her.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of able to hold
Yeah.
space for ourselves and each other in community
Mm-hmm.
and use this practice to get really close.
oh,
And the next day it happened to me
uh-huh.
because we're working with one of my parts,
Yeah.
which is really scared of her and a lot of other folks. And
Mm-hmm.
she was able to talk to me, and I was really resisting.
Mm-hmm.
And she was able to stick with it and work through the resistance in a way that I've never been held by her before because it used to scare the crap out of her and me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So these parts or these patterns that used to come up for you in the 30 plus years you've been together, you guys would get caught up in transference and counter transfers. Like you trigger her stuff,
Yep.
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
triggers yours, you're
Yeah.
seeing her as punishing parents, and she's
Mm-hmm.
seeing you as,
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
you would get spun up in that, and then
Yeah.
kind of like play out
Yeah.
these historical
Mm-hmm.
dramas,
Yeah.
and using these tools now and these come froms that you're learning through circling, you are able to kind of just like see it differently and
Mm-hmm.
hold it differently. So
Yeah.
instead of spooling each other up, you're able to like welcome
Yeah.
and witness and get curious about each other. And it sounds like you're able to have like insightful and healing conversations in places where you might have had triggering.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It happened an hour ago.
Yeah.
The reason we're together on this call and didn't reschedule it is because of circling.
Oh my goodness, I love knowing that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, so we even had one of those things where one of my wounds and one of her wounds
Yep.
grinded each other. And
Yep.
historically, that would have led into an argument where we would need to take space from each other. And
Yeah.
through the tools and skills you're learning through circling, you were able to de escalate it
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and turn towards each other
Mm-hmm.
instead of turning away from or turning against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see from the recordings how we're showing up differently, and that's just from two modules.
Yeah.
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 Like I wasn't going to mention it. Like you guys do seem like way more relaxed,
Yeah.
and like your nervous systems, like they feel more like simpatico now. Like your limbic systems seem like
Hmm.
they are like coordinating and resonating
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than they used to. Where like before, like we could feel the commitment to each other,
Yeah.
and now we can feel like the cohesion
Hmm.
Yeah.
that resonate.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us? Like, do you want to tell us a little bit about the spat an hour ago and how you managed to resolve it? Do you want to tell us about anything about your trip to the Acadia National Forest? Like anything else you want to share with our community?
What do you think?
Um, I think for me, when I was circling him on our hike,
Mhm.
he was really good about reminding me to
Hmm.
just be with his emotion and like ask him questions about his emotion and not try to fix or change things and not get defensive. Um and having been through 2 Explorer weekends, one Sovereign weekend, and the Foundations weekend was really helpful because as we're talking on this hike, I'm remembering, yeah, you're not supposed to try to fix or change. You're just supposed to be with his experience. You're just supposed to like share impact
Yeah.
and like,
Listen,
yeah, and that's,
understand, share impact.
yeah,
Listen,
right.
like,
And
try to
that's
get his
what,
world and then share the impact that that's having and rinse and
yeah,
repeat and rinse and repeat. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was attempting to do on our hike. And it was really difficult, um, because
I was hot.
he was hot.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that that part is like,
Or
don't touch me.
spicy.
Don't touch me. But
Hmm.
what was really helpful for me in working with that part was the sovereignty piece. One of the ways I try to show up is anything I feel externally towards anybody that's negative is really about me. And
Hmm.
that part really had to come back to that again and again and again. And having sat through the sovereignty workshop with me, that part really had to again own and own and own. This is all projections. I'm lobbing at Susan.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
yes.
I love that. And that idea of like part of sovereignty is to never
Yeah.
assume we know anything, or
Right.
don't assume you know what anything means.
Right.
So it's like, oh, she does this, but how it occurs for me isn't necessarily a one-to-one ratio with her intention.
Right.
And so because this hurt, spicy inner part of yours,
Yeah.
was in there with you in the sovereign, it also had to admit, like, okay, like here's how it occurred to me, and I'm ready to defend.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I got to check. I got to share, like, ooh, this is how that landed for me, or like, hey, this is how I heard that, or like
Yeah.
hearing that I noticed this. And then you check for accuracy.
Yeah.
Check to, and you give them the opportunity to be like, ooh,
I don't
that's
think it
how
was that clean that day, but we tried to work with it.
Yeah.
baby steps.
Yeah.
It's still learning. It's
Yeah.
still a Padawan in
Yeah.
its
Yeah.
development. But oh, I love
In
it.
her defense,
Showing
I
them.
now realize that her protector, we didn't calm first, and that's what
Mhm.
kept her rising, but we haven't had a chance to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, of like, if, not necessarily encircling, but in the parts, and recognizing like, oh, when the protector comes up, like we give it some attention and be like,
That's
and
right.
what do you need in order to recognize that we are not a threat to you?
Right.
Because otherwise it's just going to keep running interference. So
Yeah.
like, yeah. And that's a great thing, even for people who are, well, I'm sure people watching this are going to be like, I'm going to go find no bad parts. I'm going to read that. I'm going to listen to it, maybe both. But this idea for even people who aren't interested in internal family systems or parts work, when you notice defensiveness come up,
Mm-hmm.
like the very first thing to do is soothe the defensiveness. Like own it. You got to
Mm-hmm.
meet that with like, ooh, okay, so I just did something that had you feel a need to defend yourself.
Yep.
People, when do defenses come in handy? When you either think you're being attacked or there's
Mm-hmm.
something precious and valuable you need to protect.
Mm-hmm.
So like come to it with that kind of open curiosity. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
defensiveness should no longer be a signal to launch a counterattack.
Yeah.
It should be, a signal to get curious about like, ooh, what is it that you're protecting?
Yeah.
What is it you're imagining as being lobbed at you that you need to defend against? Like, let's meet those with open curiosity. And then that can like kind of naturally soothe this desire to defend. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out so that we could have that discussion for our community. Yeah, beautiful. And it is interesting. I also love that you pointed out the even just the physiological and dispositional shifts that you guys have gone through just over the last 6-7 weeks of like noticing that you guys feel more comfortable in your bodies and in your relationship, and it's palpable, even invisible. Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Yeah. Anything else that you feel like you want to share or you want to say for yourselves in order to feel complete, or in order to feel complete for now?
complete.
Yeah, I think I feel complete.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I'm so glad we had this time to check in, and I'm looking forward to seeing what develops over the course of the next 5 modules.
Yeah, us too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.